What's up, guys? Welcome to the Ivy League live stream. This is Justin. Today is June 23rd, June 23rd, 2024. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Sorry that I was a few minutes late on the stream. Let's get this posted. If you guys have questions, post them down below. I'm going to go through my watch list. I'm going to go through some of the data and some of the things that I expect this week in the markets. So if you have questions, throw them down below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you found this information valuable. You can join us Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. We trade live right here on this channel. Again, my name is Justin. Welcome. My goal here is to help you guys, not only find some ideas, but really get the perception and understanding of what's going on and what are your expectations, right? Let's get right into it, because every week when I go into a week, I kind of have, it's not that I kind of, but I always have something that I want to either accomplish or do, or something that I want to stick to. And that could be really anything. All right. This week, it's going to be expectations. So if you guys noticed last week, it felt like it was kind of slow. It was a short week. We didn't have much data points, but we do this week. Okay, we do have a lot of data actually. This is why I'm actually wanting to, put this out there. Right, my focus this week is going to be my expectations out of my trades. All right. So expectation is my weekly goals, right? Keeping my profit targets and my entry and my exit within an expectation, unless the market states otherwise, unless volatility and vol really start to expand, whether it's news, whether it's data, whatever it is. Okay, that means understanding that whatever it is that I go trade this week, what's the volume telling me? Do I have, lower than average volume? Do I have 2 to 3 times the volume? Which could tell me, hey, you may get 2-3 times the expected move, possibly. I always give this example back in the day, or even now. You can expect $4 to $5, $3 to $5 on a low volatile day out of Tesla, right? From high to low. You have a lot of volume, you could usually hit anywhere from $6, $8, maybe $10, depending on the day. So that's going to be my weekly goal this week, is staying within the parameters of my expectation and what it is that I'm looking for. What am I trying to get out of that trade? Understanding what it is, right? Because I have a few different ideas that I'm going to share with you guys today. So maybe, maybe it's, and I talk about this a lot, whether it's a stock that you're watching that has news and it doesn't, whether it's news or earnings, and it doesn't really move in according to, news as in whether it has an upgrade, downgrade, a new product release, information about a sale, which we're going to get into here, which I'm starting to think about. And it doesn't move right away. Maybe you write it down and you say, you know what, from now on, I'm going to start putting some of these names that I watch on a sticky note and put them on my monitor so that I don't forget about them. Because it's easy to forget about a stock 4, 5, 6 days later. Really not, I wouldn't say 6, but, and it could be. But, for general points of speaking here, 3, 4 days go by and you just find yourself into, whether it's another sector or you just forget about it, and you're like, damn, and you've seen that it had that breakout day, big volume, and you just forgot about it. So how can you keep yourself on pace with that and to, collect the move that you expected, right? Putting that on a watch list or putting that on a sticky note and keeping it in front of you every morning or every day so you don't forget about it. So you're seeing, what's the volume that day, this, that, and the third. But again, my goal this week is going to be my expectations and saying, this trade here, is this a base hit trade, double? What am I looking at here? Am I looking at $2, $3, $4, or am I looking at $6, $7, $8 in accordance to what's going on? But anyway, so that's the first. We're going to kick it off with that. That is my goal. What is your goal? Have your own goals. You can have mine too. Make up your own. Always have it. Try to stick to it, and I'm going to try to stick to this. Keeping this in my mind as we go. All right. So some of the news catalysts that we had, which we'll start to cover real quick, was Apple. Apple had a really nice move Friday, with news regarding AI. I suppose ChatGPT. Don't quote me on this, okay? I don't know if they're going to completely do away with it or what their plans are, but it sounds like plans have changed. So, we'll cover more into this. I can tell you right now, watch 210. Watch 210 on Apple. I will give you another, well, it may not be Apple. I was going to say, yeah, it's really extended. You could look for that 20-day moving average on Apple coming up to possibly give you some support, right? Or if you get that bounce, and you look for that bounce to help bring that 20-day up a little bit higher, and then you get that bounce, maybe reject Thursday's close or that 9 EMA, and then you look for a day or two to go by. Then you look for that further downside and see what happens here. If you can get it down to like the low 200s, 202.50, maybe even 205. I'm sure you may possibly get a relief bounce, but check that volume out on Friday. That's some really heavy volume there for for Apple. Okay, and again, guys, if you guys have questions, I'm going to cover my watch list really quickly. Then we'll jump right into that. I will also tell you right now, I have a few more ideas that I did not list on here, and we'll cover them as we go. All right, so. Starting with what's important, okay, is the economic data and understanding what we have on each day. Doesn't look like we have too much for the United States, at least. Again, you got to understand that the businesses here do business around the world, so it is important. The majority, if not half of their earnings, come from around the world. So it is, it's important to understand what is going on around the world, all right, because it does affect the businesses here that do business around the world. Inflation rate for Canada, Chicago Fed National Activity Index, Red Book, Case-Shiller Home Price Index. You have a lot of housing data on Tuesday. Consumer confidence at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. So again, Tuesday, and then we jump into Wednesday. Some new home sale data again. So a lot of real estate data. Maybe that's a sector you want to look at, Monday going into Tuesday, early in the week. I'm sure there could be opportunity there, which I myself will probably do. You have some oil data that's coming out. You have 2-year FRNA auction, 5-year auction, and then, so bank stress tests do come out the end of the month, and I put this in the notes, okay? I wasn't sure, and I wrote this down here, which was that I wasn't sure if the stress tests were going to come out Friday or Wednesday, because I was getting two different whatchamacallits for that. Wiz, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? It is my favorite Canadian. How'd you know that, bro? That's so funny. It's good to see you, man. I hope all is well. I hope you guys had a good weekend. So stress tests are going to come in. I'm personally going to watch for a few reasons, and I'm going to cover it, but Goldman Sachs and or JP Morgan. I'm going to tell you right now, Friday, Goldman Sachs did not have a good day. Now, there's two reasons for this. All right, Goldman Sachs, you guys know, like names like Moderna, Goldman Sachs. I love to trade these things. The last time we traded Goldman was right here on this breakout. All right, we traded it here, and then we traded it again on what I expected to put in new highs, and I should have understood and said, hey, this needs to be a swing trade, because it was a huge trade. I'm talking $1.80 for contracts the very end of the day the next morning you wake up. No, it was the end of the day. They were at 16 to 1800. Again, we got in at 404 or 406 with a stop loss at 404 here. And just a huge day. We got there on that breakout day, and we should have swung that. At least I should have swung it, because I said that I expected Goldman Sachs to break out to new highs, and it in fact did. Right? You had this beautiful consolidation, and then just nice breakout on volume. It was just a picture-perfect trade. I could have ended up just buying the stock itself, and I didn't, but it is what it is. That's the past. We can only learn from it. So again, next time you see these daily consolidations with breakouts, you want to think about, if you're saying and expecting an all-time high, maybe you just got yourself a swing trade there. But anyway, stress test Wednesday, right? Coinciding with the Dow, okay? I'm telling you guys right now, if we can close the Dow up there at 392, 392.50, and you start seeing the Dow close up around here, along with stress tests, depending on how they come, which I think could affect the Dow, obviously, with financials. The Dow itself has a lot of room and has really nothing stopping it up to 398, 398, 399, possibly even 400. That's a lot of room. That's one reason why I have Goldman Sachs on my list. So I have two possible, bullish expectations. And now here's the second part. These stress tests are expected to not really hit Goldman. Okay, they're actually expected to have less. I'll show you guys right here. So with these stress tests, you're going to see that the regulations towards how. Now, listen, I'm not a banker. I'm not an economist. But you're going to notice how some financial stocks could have more regulation than others. For instance, Goldman, it's a possibility that they're saying that Goldman may have less regulation or less margin requirements, I guess you could say, than others because they don't have as much real estate and equity exposure as others. Okay? There's some, now we can always go through this and I'll talk about it again during the live stream, which you guys can join us Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4, right here on this channel. So we're going to see how this affects, the stress test coming in and the Dow, if it can break out, if we can get a nice extension breakout through 460 on Goldman. Okay, I want to see if we can try to get this thing up through 460. This level here is what I'm watching. Right here, this 460 level right there. If we can break out up through there, then I think we have a shot up to 470. Possibly even to continue a new high. If we end up breaking 450, I'm going to get short at the 20-day moving average and look for the break of 450, pull it back into the 50-day moving average. I will say this, look at the 50-day. It's been a really nice support level for Goldman Sachs this year. All right, 50-day, you guys can see here, support all in through there. You had a quick break, gap below it, quickly recover. And if you guys can see this, you can see how it pulled in right there, right? You had a gap below it, gap above it, pulled it back, a little island reversal there, right off the 50-day was a buy trigger, and then it was off to the races. So the only thing, again, that I don't like is the fact that Goldman had a down day on volume Friday, while, we'll say, JP Morgan closed the day with a nice reversal candle there, right? Goldman with volume, a lot of these names, it didn't recover as well. It closed at the lows is what I'm saying. So I'm a little bit neutral, but I'm going to look at Goldman Sachs again for the possibility of, not having exposure to real estate and equity as much as other banks, and the Dow. Okay, if the Dow can break out and we get, not so much bearish news on Goldman Sachs, this is a stock that I'm thinking about taking a long or a short, okay? A long or a short. I'll let you guys know that 20-day is going to be my entry point for the short side, okay? I want to see if we can get a bounce into like 455. Really, 452.50 is where I want to see Friday's, this little support level here on Goldman Sachs. Right here. This area right there, we'll watch that area. It's like 451.50 to 452.50. And if, the markets decide to pull back Monday or Tuesday, I would look for Goldman to reject Friday's low. And I'm not going to say Friday's low, but Friday's pivot low, right? Off the bell, you can see this pivot low right there. See if we can't get a rejection there. And then look for the break, right? You can look for the pullback. You're in between the 20-day and 50-day, and we'll look for a pullback down into that 50-day. But as we pull back, that 50-day is going to go higher. So the target would be 444, 446 for Goldman Sachs. All right, but this box here, if we get a pullback and end up holding 450, or we hold 447, 448, you know, we'll again, futures haven't opened just yet. So I have a neutral stance here. All right, neutral stance on Goldman. Again, I'm going to keep my expectations to whatever the overall market and this is telling me. So that's the first one that's on the list, which was Goldman Sachs. Let's go quickly. Let's not get off track here. And we're going to cover some of the earnings, which is also going to go into some retail. You have Nike, FedEx. All right, I don't want to get too ahead of myself. You guys know I have such horrible ADHD. So here we are, Wednesday. You have a 5-year note auction on Wednesday as well with the bank stress tests. You do have some data from Japan. You have retail sales out of Japan. Previously 1.2%. They're expecting a decline of 0.5, pretty much flat. Thursday, I would expect this to be GDP revisions for Q1. We have durable goods on Thursday, initial jobless claims, and retail inventory. So you do have some data also on Thursday. Again, this is why I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even Friday, you could get some back and forth along with the earnings. This market could, you know, could really pull you around, okay? 30-year mortgage rate, 50-year mortgage rate, all that fun stuff. Kansas Fed manufacturing. So a lot of data, you know, really coming out. The markets may not move that much on it, but we have PCE on Friday. Okay, PCE on Friday. It's pretty stagnant, but we're down there, right? Inflation of itself, prices have risen, and they've they stay where they're at. Now it's time. If nothing crazy happens, you're seeing energy pullback that may actually help this data set out in the next coming 6 months, couple months, within the next year. So keeping an eye on the goods as far as lumber, copper, meat prices, and what energy has in store for that if energy prices continue to pull back. So that's also, I did not write this down, but you guys know I've been trying and waiting for another opportunity short. I did not take it on this double top, and I said it Friday. Now, Friday, we had 2 green trades. I had one small losing trade. I had Tesla. We traded Tesla Friday. Really nice day Friday. And then DJT, which we'll talk about. We got long DJT later in the late in the day Friday. Tesla short off of 194. This level was really nice. I came in on the live stream. I had some stuff I had to do, and I said, guys, 184. I said 184, and we double topped up there. So we bounced up to 184. I got short, bang, got the nice downside, pulled back up. I think I took a long also on Tesla, and I think that was the losing trade. I think I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what if I took half of that trade. I know I took half of it off. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, the 184 short. I know I got long Tesla. So the 2 trades for me were Tesla. One was a loser, one was a winner. But that 184 rejection, like as soon as I didn't even have to do much work. But when I came in, I started the live stream, and I'm like, guys, 184. Look for a pop into 184. Just like that, and I'm like, it was just a beautiful setup. And then you got that rejection. It was a really nice, easy money trade, 184 rejection. And you got that really nice pullback. I know it doesn't seem like much here. It was a mild day, but this paid pretty nicely here. This was a really nice extension for you there. And then DJT, we also traded Friday, late in the day. I was going to swing trade this, and I said, hey, I took it off, and I said, if, we get the extension, maybe I'll leave some on, but I took that trade off. I got paid. I was having trouble with my limit orders to get out of this. They just did not want to fill me for whatever reason, which is always the case. So I was actually working on this weekend. Ended up, I'm probably I might leave my E-Trade account alone for a little bit and see if that kind of, I don't, again, since Morgan Stanley's really gotten a hold of them, I don't know, man. It's just not, it doesn't feel to me the same E-Trade, right? I've always never had a problem with them. I have multiple accounts, but it might be time to go back to Interactive Brokers. So, which, I technically wouldn't be going back. I would just use that instead. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we're going to talk about that. But energy, let's see what that does this week. You have a nice double top up here on Exxon. You did break the support level here at 111. Wait, did we trade it? Yeah, we were looking for the 111 puts on Friday. Again, all this stuff is streamed live and it's still up there, so you guys can always go back, for transparency. I always, I always try to state what the expectation again is of the trade, if it's a swing trade or not. But anyway, so that's the data this week. All right, we do have some earnings on top of that from Carnival Cruise, which I want to check out. There could be a nice trade there. I haven't looked at it just yet. But FedEx, Carnival Cruise, General Mills, which I've been in this stock for a little bit. I'll touch into that in a little bit. We have Micron, BlackBerry, Nike as well. All right. Micron just got a downgrade, I think. Downgrade. So right here, you guys can see so there's Kroger, Ali. Let's see. Micron downgrade. I'm not sure where it's at, but if you guys go to any of these sites, and this is what I want to also touch on real quick, is that you guys can use, so this is really cool, right? So I've brought this up before. If you guys are always wondering what you guys can, like what's trending, or if you want to know like what's trending, where is it, who's trading it, Google has this thing here, which is Google Trends, and I always pull it up. You can see and at what location and cities and areas these things are being looked up, right? Apple, Chipotle, Dow, Microsoft, right? This was the latter part of it out of 25 inquiries, but NVIDIA, you'll see DJT, Dell, right? Gold. So you'll see, you can get an insight to what people are Googling, and I think you can use that to your benefit to be able to see where is the sentiment, where are people looking, right? Retail, and even institutional. But anyway, let's keep going with the trade ideas. So we covered some earnings. So you do have some FedEx earnings, Nike earnings. I want to see those retail earnings and how that affects Starbucks. Okay, so Nike's going to be pretty important. All right, and they are on Thursday. So again, I feel like it's going to be a mild beginning of the week unless we have news. We have consumer confidence, as you guys can see here again. PCE on Friday, along with Thursday's Nike earnings, initial jobless claims, GDP. Okay, durable goods. So there are market moving, this market there's still opportunity. You just have to know where to find it. All right, so let's just keep going with the trade ideas and all that fun stuff. I just wanted to cover that. Use the economic data, understanding the days that things come out in accordance to the market. All right, it's important. So let's go do it right now. So look at the SPY. All right, the SPY. All right, SPY is holding up really nicely here at 544. We are really extended, and that's okay. All right, and that's okay. So you have 9 EMA up here. I want to see if we get a bounce into this gap and end up getting a pullback. You can see here on this volume, look at the volume that we've been starting to have up here. It's been a lot more than the buying side. It's not crazy, but again, it shows you that profit taking on highs and extensions away from these moving averages, 2-3 standard deviations, right? This is buying low and selling high. So let's see if we get a pop back into the gap up here at 547, and see if we get a rejection up there at 547. That's what I'm going to look for. 546 to 547, that area. We'll see if we get another rejection there. This is a range. I will say this now. You know, it might be easy to... So what I would look for is if we start closing, you know, towards like the opening price and these pivot highs at like 545, okay? And if we end up breaking, you know, Friday's pivot high, it's a nice double bottom consolidation. Then, you know, I'm not scared to take the long. I'll take the long. That's you know, $1, $2, depending on where you get it. Maybe even $3 if you can get 544, or if you know, depending on what futures do. You know, futures haven't opened up yet, so I don't know if we're going to come in with a gap up, gap down. I haven't even tried to look to see where we're at. But it's a nice, easy range here, and I'm going to tell you guys right now. You know, remember I talked about this. You know, I usually bring it up all the time, but every now and then, understanding what days the market moves on. Mondays have been days where you're getting a lot of follow through, right? Whether it's to the upside or downside. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Let's see if we end up breaking above this 546 or 547. I will say, you know, you're just... It looks like if we make any type of ground or headway above us, we have resistance, right? What do I mean by that? Look at that. Look at Thursday's pivot low, double bottom, resistance, right? I can say, okay, resistance. You're just like, okay, once you get above 548 and you start closing there, the chances are, hello, you know, I mean, you know, hello 550, okay? So that's, you know, so we'll see. We'll see if you have any news, again, if it's worth trading the overall markets. You know, I like to trade them when we have, you know, have a reason, like when we have some volume or news or whatever it is, but we'll see. So I've been watching. Mondays have been really good for volume and follow through. We'll see what happens. But anyway, the SPY looking for a bounce into this gap up here at 547. And then we'll go to the Qs. The Qs ended up holding up nicely, all right, in comparison to the S&Ps. So if we look here, oops, sorry about that. I got a coffee in my hand here. The Qs never broke, and they held Thursday's low. All right, so if the Qs can hold up here, and we just, you know, sit here and consolidate. Let me get this correct. All right, so support, obviously, 480. Okay, 480 is a nice support level. You can see here, bang. Let's pull this up. All right, let's go back to the daily chart really quickly. All right, and if you want to go to the weekly chart, you can. Now, it's a nice tail there on the weekly chart. I don't think we've had a tail, a weekly candle close like this in quite some time, where we really closed at the low end of the range, like you can see here on the Qs. All right, I know it may be a little tough to see here, but 480. You opened up the week at 479.50, and you closed 15 cents above where you opened last week. Again, you did have a holiday. It was one of those weeks where volatility just felt a little slow, but there was still a ton of opportunity. So pullbacks, we'll look for pullbacks off the overall markets on bounces, okay? And you know, it's a shame because a lot of the important stuff doesn't come until the end of the week. Not that that really matters, because, you know, institutions can step in and sell at any minute. We're also coming into the end of the month. Remember that. We're coming into the end of the second quarter. So the Qs, you know, we don't really have as much of a gap as you do on the SPY. So I'm going to look for, if we get back above Thursday's close at 480 here, then I'm going to look for a run back to 485. And I won't look to be short or anything of that nature unless we climb to the top, you know, unless we climb to that double top up there. Call it a triple top if you'd like. What is that? Okay, I got confused at 490, but 487. All right, 487. I don't know what's going on with my charts. I do apologize. I won't look to get short. I would actually much rather be long tech and the Qs than I would the SPY, right? Because you can see here, if you get above or start closing and making progress up here at 482, 482 to 483, you have a lot of room from 483. Your next resistance point isn't until 486. So tech might be the better way there. I feel like you have held up a lot better Friday. You never, you closed above Thursday's low, not below it. All right. So I can, this is how I view the markets. All right. And it's kept me profitable. It keeps me consistent. So understanding, hey, the SPY is well below Thursday's double bottom. The Qs are still just hanging out at Thursday's bottom. So let's go into the Dow. So like I told you, the Dow has some room here. The Dow actually is actually in an uptrend. So you can see the divergence. So that's going to be healthcare, financials, rotation. Okay, rotation in the blue chip names, whether it's IBM. Let's see where that's at. All right. It's not really, IBM isn't really one of those names, in my opinion, ever since their earnings release. But that's why I'm looking at Goldman Sachs, and I'll be looking at JP Morgan, UNH. Okay. This is a nice support level for UNH. You can see if it can make any headway to go up higher. Again, what I'll do is I'll go to some of the Dow names and actually look to see. Let's see here. So if I go here to Market Watch and we just click on the Dow, we can see Apple, Amazon, right? Microsoft, Visa, Costco, which has been another really strong stock. You know what also has been strong, which I haven't checked out? CRM. All right, I'm going to continue with my watch list, but CRM. So we can see CRM has been closing in an uptrend and is up here at resistance. But if the Dow starts to trend higher, chances are we look at names like CRM for a bounce back. Okay. Now you can see the difference here. Now I told you guys I was looking at financials like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, but CRM's in an uptrend, not a downtrend. It's not that Goldman Sachs in a downtrend. It just closed at its lows and had a down day Friday instead of an up day. So I would much rather be with the stronger names, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And again, join us live on the stream, and I'll give you guys, we trade live right on this channel, and we have a good time. So anyway, bank stress tests are coming out Wednesday, I guess. And you can see here, I wasn't sure if it was Friday, Wednesday, whatever it was. So news with Boeing. Okay, so you guys all should know. If you don't know, there's news with Boeing here that there are, if we go in here, all right, media top latest. All right, so sorry to give a okay, a second whistleblower connected to Boeing has suddenly died at the age of 45. Okay, that's May 2nd. Okay, so it doesn't seem like many people are reporting on this. But there is apparently a couple astronauts stuck in space. I should have brought to that. So the Starliner astronauts stuck at International Space Station as engineers on Earth race against time to fix multi-problems. All right, so update. Boeing Starliner literally falling over space right now. You have to watch what you read on here. Nearly killed 2 astronauts during takeoff on a trip to ISS, International Space Station. Mismanaged at Boeing, proving extremely dangerous. Okay. Again, I always say this about Boeing, and I ask anytime I see something, okay, there's no excuse for the door blowing apart. I get that. But you have to ask yourself why there isn't an accident in the United States versus other countries. Is because they don't train, and I'm not going to say that, but there's just a reason why, right? There's a reason why some of these incidences happen outside of the U.S. than they do here. And I personally feel like it's due to the training that the pilots have that you receive here versus other countries. But anyway, things aren't looking good, guys. Things aren't looking good. So you got to see Boeing here. If you see 170.50, 170.50 pullbacks off of the 50-day moving average, which are there now. You're bumping into it up there at 177. 177, 177.50. Look for pullbacks. See if you can get down into the low 170s, and if you can possibly even break 170. You have a really nice support level down here at 125. I doubt that you get there, but I will say this. If Boeing does get to 125, I will buy it. All right? I will buy it for the long term, and I will think that that is a good buy for the next 10, 5, even 5 to 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Okay, it's the same story going on. I'm not sure. All right. Now, I don't see any new airplane companies coming to light trying to start up a company. Oh, Mike, I'm sorry I did not see the chat, guys. I do apologize. Folding 98. Let's go look at it. Yes, HPE, Palantir. Let's get right into it. I was covering this stuff really quickly. But, hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Thank you guys for being here. So, Boeing, rejection. You pulled back through the 50-day. I know you guys can't really see it here, but there's the 50-day. This red line here, broke it. You're bumping into it. Now, you look for the pullbacks into the low 170s. This thing is somewhat overdone, but it feels like Boeing just can't get an ounce of good news, at least from the public's perspective. All right, I have my own thoughts on it, and again, you guys know how I feel. I just feel like, yes, they may be doing things inappropriately, right? But I also feel like people need to understand that there's a big difference between the training and education and the stuff that our pilots go through in the United States versus other countries. And the difference between the companies working on things and Boeing being held accountable. So, but anyway, hopefully things can get turned around for Boeing. I mean, you got to think these are our people here that are going through this, not just, the CEO and stuff, but these workers and stuff. It's like, it's got to be it's just got to be a sad time to work there, So hopefully the engineers and the team can get things turned around. Pullbacks into 170, 160 off of the 50-day. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if for some reason, even if we can start to get to 160, 160 also looks like a nice place here on Boeing. It's like 159, 160. I would possibly like to start buying down there if I can get it. You can see that the market has been reluctant to go back there. And I say this from time to time, and I've said it before at least, is that sometimes there's prices you're just not going to get. For anybody that's screaming, a bear market, that they think they're going to see the 300s again, if you see 390, 380, if you do not buy the SPY at 390, 380, that's on you. All right. It does stink that it's in the 400s now, because 400 for me was just like, 400 to 405 was my cutoff point on the S&Ps. But, that's what markets do. They go up, and you just have to, go with the flow. So sometimes there are price points that the market just isn't going to give you. And if it does, you have to take it. Starbucks was one that we did buy on pullbacks. Oh, shoot. You know what? I also want to get rid of this. Guys, this was actually a joke, too. It was just, if you guys wanted to. But, anyway, I forgot that I had that up there. So, you can see a nice rejection point here at 180, 179.50. It's like 178.50 to 179. You had nice with the 50-day there, nice rejection point there. So I'm going to look for Boeing to pull back into these previous lows down at 170s. You get a break of 170, you're looking at like 168, 165. So I would put a 167.50. And then probably 165 also. So these would be my target points for Boeing if we can get this continuation tomorrow. I'm actually going to look to trade this. This is a nice setup here. This is a nice setup. You have some mild support at 171.50. You guys can see that there. I might get rid of this one. I might get rid of that. I don't know if I should though. Yeah, I like that one. So pullbacks in the 171, the low 170s off the 50-day tomorrow. All right, so that's Boeing. Let's go here. Let's do it. Let's go. So let's go to semiconductors. All right, let's go into semiconductor. So NVIDIA had a nice reversal candle, and I'll go back to my other watch list. I don't have NVIDIA on my watch list, but because it's always there. All right, NVIDIA, this 20-day, this is a nice support level down here at 118 to 120. I think you get a bounce there. I'm not sure. I mean, this was some serious volume. I just don't think, in my opinion, unless we get some type of news. I mean, this is a nice break and retest here, right? On a 4-hour chart, you can see what is that, like 127.50. Pullbacks into 127.50, and you have mild support down there at like 122.50, and then 117. 98, man. I think 98 would be awesome. I think it could. Here's my thoughts on this, is that I think we're going to see, or I think we could see, I don't know if we're going to or not, it's going to be hard to have, you know, some of these earnings to pull back. Now, if you guys remember on NVIDIA's earnings call, they said that they were booked. So I would not expect, you know, people, I wouldn't expect the worst case scenario is what I'm getting at for NVIDIA when they report earnings next unless something changes. All right. Because of their earnings call, if you listen to their earnings call, they were pretty much reiterating that, you know, we have more orders than we can make, and we're full, right, for the next year, unless some of those orders, you know, get taken back or aren't needed for whatever reason. They're still selling these, and they're selling them at a premium. There's still a demand for it. So I got to be honest with you guys. Any pullbacks, I'm not going to hesitate to take the long. We had some real serious volume there. But the thing with sell volume is that it comes real quick and then it goes, right? And then it just comes back in at a later date. We saw that with ARM. You guys saw that selling pressure with ARM. It would run up, bang, major sell off, right? Stagnant for a week or two, back at highs, would sell off. I thought we lost again. I've had problems with electric lately. I don't know. There's just been between them working on stuff, accidents, transformers blowing. I don't know, but really nice levels here for NVIDIA for trading. So I'm gonna watch this 127.50 level, which we have a nice range here from Friday, and I think we can get back up here to 130. And any rejections at 127.50 or 130. You know, I'm not going to hesitate to get short for a pullback. The stock's still strong. Here's the second part to this. It could be. You're right. That is a good point, Mike. Yeah, we'll just have to see. You know, I wish I had some information on that, or knew somebody on a desk that they were, you know, I guess that would be insider information, but I don't think it would be, which is that, we are, de-risking a bit. It wouldn't surprise me, but I also think that I don't think they're going to sell it just yet until it comes down to earnings, right? Because of what was said on the earnings call. It's like, hey, we're still full, guys. We have more orders than we can make. And until that changes, we're able to sell it at a premium. This was your stock split. We're almost back at the split. Where was earnings at for this? Okay, so earnings was way back here. Wow. Okay. Holy cow. You know, if we like, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you see $100, I would hope that you take it. You know, I don't know if we will. I think it's, you know, I think what I'm getting at is like until there's a catalyst, you know, it's going to be hard to just get, you know, crazy sell off. It could happen. You could see de-risking going into Q2. You could see some like news happen and yields start to rip and rise and some of these names get pulled back. This is all late cycle stuff, right? Fed's not lowering rates, they're raising rates, right? Mega cap tech is up at highs for the obvious reasons. Liquidity. Institutions can get in and out of these names without too much of a worry about how they're going to get out when they get in. And you see these 2000s, 2008. I'm not going to, you know, there is obviously that big difference there. But as far as cycles are concerned, you know, Liz had said this. So, and she's making valid points there. So anyway, the 127. 130 is the level that I'd watch for NVIDIA. We'll see if we get pullbacks off of this level here. We'll see, again, if the Qs are strong. You know, here's also what's funny about this. The QQQ, right, is still up here, right? NVIDIA is down here. So there's a bit of divergence from the tech sector, right, from NVIDIA to the Qs because the Qs are still above Friday's pivot low. I'm going to play the ranges, pullbacks into 124, 122, that low 120, mid 120 level. I'll look to get long NVIDIA, unless there's some news that I don't know about. So that's that. Bitcoin. Let's go to Bitcoin real quick. Let's keep going with the watch list. And we're going to get into Tesla. Let's go into Coinbase really quickly. All right, Coinbase and Bitcoin. So this is actually a really tight pullback, right? You can see how there's not much up and down action to this, right? You can see how this is a tight, you know, pullback. Like there's not much volatility to it. It's just straight down for the most part. It's not whipping around all over the place. That's kind of a sign here. This could be a possible cup and handle. I don't think so. You know, it's more of a head and shoulders than anything. And I'm referring, you know, to this, right? There's your left shoulder. And then you have your head. I hate that I have to do this every time, right? There's the head. And then your left shoulder right there. And then your neckline is right there, which would be right there. So it did not break out. You guys can see there. Bitcoin did not break out off of that neckline. That's actually a pennant here too, and it's a failed break. So you can see we tried to hold the 50-day. We broke. We hit the what was that, Thursday? We rejected the 50-day, and we were short Coinbase towards the end of the week. This past week, we've been trading Coinbase off of Bitcoin. So I'll be watching Bitcoin. You're coming into an area. Let me show you guys really quickly. Let me get rid of this stuff because I don't want to mess my charts up here. I could actually leave that. I'm going to leave that up there. So if you look here on an hourly chart on Bitcoin, you guys will see and notice. I know it might be a little hard to see here, but 65,000. We turned it into resistance here, right? We turned it into resistance. You can see it right there. If you can't see it, if you can't see my cursor, right there, right? There's your rejection. Support, 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 rejected. Here we go, right? It's on. 65 rejected, now 64, 64.5. And now you're pulling back. You have some support here at 63. So it looks like if we get any bounces and you start rejecting, which we're selling off now as we speak, 64,000 pulls back, you have room down to the low 60s. So we're going to look at Coinbase, which I can cover in more stocks, and we'll cover them as I'm done. Let me go through my watch list and then we'll get to it. Coinbase has been, pretty much short bounces and you've made money. All right, short the bounces and you've made money. So I want to say this, all right, and I wrote this down in the watch list, all right, which I'll get into Amazon. Coinbase, depending on Bitcoin, obviously 220. Now this is for the long side. 220 to 225 holds. I'm looking to go long to 230, 235 area. If you do get through 235, then you could look for 240. But the trade there really is that low 220 area. Long to, you have 10 points, 10 to 15 points up to 230, 235. All right. Short side, 235. It's obviously just in reverse. 230, 235 rejection. I'm looking for pullbacks into 225, 222, and 220. But I will note, and I noted this here, the 100-day moving average this year has been a major support level for Coinbase. All right, a major support level. If you guys look back this year and even prior for the last couple years, Coinbase has been turning the 100-day moving average into support, right, and resistance. It's an area. You guys, if you can't see it, it may be hard here, but that blue line, okay, you guys can see right here. It's resistance. Breaks above it, pulls back into it, support, rallies off of it. Pulls into it, rallies off. Look at this. Look at all that support there, right? Resistance and support all right there, right at that blue line at the 100-day. Same thing again, right? And then again, gets above it, support. Support, support, double bottom. Can't get above it, just hangs out, just sits on it. And then you get a gap above, pulls back into the 100-day, and just rips. And what happened? Pulled back where? That blue line, 100-day. 100-day. Where are we? 100-day. All right, so watch that 100-day moving average. Each time you've left this 100-day moving average, the last time we touched it, it was a shorter rally than prior. So you may try to get, you can see the tails coming in there. We may try to get a bounce off of it, but you have the 50-day to contend with. And in my opinion, you know, Coinbase kind of just like doesn't really, I'm not going to say that it doesn't care, but it kind of just hasn't cared too much about the 50-day. I think that 100-day moving average is a bigger area that you can rely on to be long off of it. And if obviously Friday's low was your day, you pulled right in there. And that's what these boxes are, depending on the color, is the moving day, is our daily moving averages. So 220, 218, 220 longs into 230, 235. We have a big gap fill here on Coinbase. All right, there's a nice gap fill here. And if you also look back here, I want to also show you guys another thing here. This could be one big getting set up for one big consolidation. So it doesn't mean that, it technically doesn't mean that we have to like rip higher off of this or go lower. We could just sit in this 200 to 250 range and consolidate. And I'm going to tell you right now, if we do that and you see, you know, third quarter, we're just sitting there for 2-3 months, I'm going to look to go long going into the end of the year. All right. I'm going to look to go long into the end of the year. And that could be what's setting up with Trump doing all the stuff with Coinbase. You could see this thing just consolidate for a few months and then try to make that extension going into 2024 or 2025. I'm sorry. Also, this is the other part to this. Look at Coinbase, right? I'm going to show you guys something. Look at anchored VWAP. This anchored VWAP is from the prior move higher and the prior move lower. Okay, this blue line. All right, they are both meeting up at the low. You're looking at 220, which will be, by the time we open up tomorrow, it should go a little bit higher. So you're looking at this previous support level there at 220. And then from the high up here, which it should be up there, 235, right? So our support and resistance levels off of 220 and 235 both have anchored VWAPs from both major moves. From the pivot low high move, and then from the high, you know, from our downtrend. This is really when we started selling off, right? Was up here at 285. We pulled back, put in a lower high, right? So, and then where's the move been from? Yes, I put it back here, but really that's going to give you that move. You pulled back, you know. So I put it here, also off of earnings. That's just where I put it. And that was last year, and this move here off of the lows was actually off the lows of this year, right? That's 2024. So there's a couple different reasons why I put the anchored VWAP there, and it lines up good. So we could see some buyers there at like 216 or 217, 220, right? The high and low, the low 220s and high teens of 200. So 217 to 220, we're going to look to be a buyer there. And again, you have the 100-day moving average also there with anchored VWAP. And you can see that we've already started to put in these tails Thursday and Friday. But again, it's also going to have to see what Bitcoin does. Again, and I say this because 220 to 230, 220 to 235, even 235 to 220. These are 10, 15-point moves. So there is money to be made there. Again, the word of the week that I'm going to but I'm going to keep in my mind is expectations. What are my expectations out of this trade? If I have, regular volume, just kind of not really, just its average volume low, I'm going to look for, 8 to 10 points on Coinbase. If we have news, something comes out, Bitcoin starts to go higher, we have an increase in volume, we might have a nice trend day. We have a nice gap to fill there. All right, so we're stuck right now in between the 100 and 50-day moving average. Pullbacks into 220, I'm long. Bounces into 235, I'm going to look to get short. Even 240, okay, because that 20-day moving average should start to yank down into 235. So that's why I'm aiming more so at 235 here. All right. So that's Coinbase. All right, we've been watching these for a couple days. We'll see how tech does. I haven't really watched the Qs as far as tech and Bitcoin and the relationship there, if there is one. GME. Let's go into GME. This is another one. This is actually a swing trade I'm thinking about. What's up, Bingo? How you doing, buddy? How did I start it? You can do it however you want. I started that anchored VWAP from the low of the trend higher, right? This was the move higher, and it's this year, right? You could set it from the prior lows, but that prior low, I can tell you right now, is going to set you at 160. That's just not where we're at right now. You could look for a longer move back down into here, or that double top here. You have a nice double top there at 200, so which I can set it there now. I did it earlier. Let me pull up a daily chart just to make it 4 hours fine too. So if I go from this move or even the low, let's see what the higher you set it, the higher it's going to be, obviously, because it's going to price in higher, buyers above it. But I would just put it where you want. You can pick different points. You can put anchor VWAPs starting from the beginning of the week. You could start it from the month. You could put it from earnings. You could put it from the beginning of the year, right? Different areas on where you think. The reason I put it here is because this is the move higher. This was our move higher, and that's why we're up here, is because we came off of this level this year, off of that earnings, and, this was the move higher. So if I'm trying to measure a pullback off of a move higher, if you want to look at the whole move, you could put it back here, but really you would want to put it back here, right? See, that's, 121, it's just not feasible right now, so I can see that it's there. If I want to put it here, you can put it wherever you want. You just have your own reasons for why you do things, right? And there you go. You have, again, 180, right? But that's not going to do me anything right now. Now, if I want to put it right here for this move higher, right there, it's not quite at that double top yet. Kinda, but not really. Longer term, sure, you could look for a move back into 180. Absolutely. But I think you're going to have a day where you get a catalyst out of that, right? Unless you see Bitcoin start to really sell off. Number two, this thing is already kind of overdone. You can see there's massive, like just this whole area here. There's a lot of buying here and selling. So you're just not going to break this level on the first try off at 210, right? You might break 220 the first try. I could see that happening. I could see us breaking 220 and going right down to like 210, 200. But anything below 200, I think you get a bounce off of 200 before you break it, unless there's news or a catalyst. But I did it off of just a move higher right there, and then the downtrend again for the anchored VWAP down takes us to 235 resistance. The move higher was off of the move, obviously from the move higher. You know, after doing this for so long, you can kind of know already where they're going to be at without doing it. Let me actually take that back. But it is, it's just reassurance. Okay. And this was the low of this year as well. It puts it up here, not really on that pivot low. I think it does it from the closing price. So that was from 120, it looks like. 119, something like that. All right. Which if you move it a couple points, it's not really going to make much of a difference either way. It might go up or a little bit more down depending on where. But you're getting the idea, right? And that's the most important part here is the idea. So we'll see what happens. And this is what we try to teach is using multiple indicators that line up together to tell us the same thing. The volume has been pretty serious here, even though it is overdone. It can remain oversold, right? It can remain oversold just as much as things can remain overbought. All right, let's keep it moving. So that's Coinbase, 220. 220 the low 220s we're looking for longs, and then pullbacks off of from 230 235 would be the profits to the long and or shorts, okay, and maybe even 240. All right, GameStop. I think I'm going to put on a swing trade here. My thoughts on this are I'm going to try and put on a swing trade if I don't know where we open up tomorrow, but I'm going to try and catch a move down into $20, maybe even 16, but let's worry about 22 and 20 off of this. If we break $24, like if we can, if we come in with a gap down tomorrow, right? Let's just say we come in with a gap down and we open up at like 23, 20, whatever, and then you look for that bounce back into this $24. I'm looking for a $24. I'm looking for a 24 rejection. I'm looking for these lows to start rejecting at $24, and I want to look to get short. All right, and I want to take this into $20. 24 short in the $20. You have this this green. I know there's a lot of levels I have here. I do apologize. 20-day moving average, that green line. It's not really doing too much there off of it. But you have the 50-day coming up, right? This is kind of why I like this as well, too. Your real support would be at like 23, it looks like on the daily chart. But I think since we've closed down here, we would look for 24 to be resistance if we can break it. That was low volume Friday. Again, GameStop can pop. Okay, it can pop. On those pops is where I want to be short. So I would like to try to take GameStop down into $20. I'm going to take profits into 23 and 22. All right, as I wrote down here, 24 rejection, target 22, 20. And I'll leave some on to see if we can get into 16. If we get down to like 22 or 20 and we're going to get that bounce back into 22, I'll put the trade back on and try to just, kind of just drain these options and drain the short. I'm just going to get, if listen, I'm not opposed to going long either. So this is not me saying I'm one-sided either, but this is the trade that I kind of like. Weekly chart, you have this 100-day moving average, or the weekly 100-day is down there at $20 as well. All right, let's go to TradingView. You guys can see it a lot better. We'll go to the daily chart first. And you had also this wedge form there. I know this chart looks awful. I know it looks awful. I had dark mode on, then I took it off. So you guys can see here this wedge that was being put in. Let me go to the hourly chart. I hate that I have to click. All right, so you guys can see this wedge, right? Right there, right there. Looks like you're breaking down outside of this wedge now. And I'm just looking, again, I'm going to say it, 24. If we can break below 23.95, I'm going to look to try and get short here. You can see Friday, we turned that area officially into resistance. We turned it into resistance. Does that mean we can't get a pop off of $23? We most certainly can. We'll see what happens. That was a low volume day. You know, any pops into 24, 26, I'll be short, unless we have volume to the buy side to tell me otherwise. So this is a swing trade idea that I'm thinking about, that I plan on probably putting on. We'll go to DJT and we'll go into some semiconductors, so you guys can see it a lot better on this chart here. You guys can see this whole area. This is a major area, and we broke it. This was the area we were buyers off of. 24 bucks. We said 24. We're buyers. So we've officially broken below it, and now I'm going to look to try and take it down to 22. I'm going to take half off, maybe even 3/4, depending on how we get there. You know, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to get this. I'm going to go out. I'm going to give this some time. Maybe I just short the stock itself. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to play this. Maybe I'll do both. Maybe I'll grab a few puts and then just short it itself intraday, and you know, just trade the moves, and just get short the down moves. But then maybe I'll go out 2-3 months or so, or a month, and get short. So 24 bucks. If we regain 24, easy move back to like 26, 25.50. You're easily able to get back up inside that range and test the 20-day moving average, which is that green box right there. That's your daily 20-day moving average. So any pops off of 24, you recover it, it's time to go long. Don't take the short, or at least I'm not going to. Short bounces. Don't short down at lows. So that is that. Let's go to semiconductors. AMD had a nice day. Oh, real quick, Amazon. I randomly thought about this. So Prime Day is going to be around the corner. All right, keep that in your mind. Prime Day is around the corner. I'm not sure exactly when it is. I think they've announced it. I'm not sure, but I think it's early July. So there might be a trade here with Amazon going into Prime Day. That maybe we can start to score on early. Look, it looks like they're already doing it now. So Amazon's had a pretty nice couple days here, but we're bumping into resistance. So if we can get above 189.75, 190, could look for those previous highs up at 190.170 and 192, and you know, it's open space now, right? Maybe you get a move to 195, 196. So pullbacks into 198, 198. Yes, I'm going to say 198. That was a nice test. What opening price is that? Yeah, I'm sorry, 188. So pullbacks into 188. I want to try to take this thing higher. If we look here and we measure this move, there's two ways to do it, but this is one. So that tells us 196. All right, that tells us 196. Look for pullbacks into 187. Yeah, look for pullbacks into 187 flat, 187.50 area. It's like a dollar range. 188 to 187. Look for longs, okay? And you have room up to 196. You just have to watch those previous highs. The other part to this is that's a nice extension break on an increase in volume. So I'm definitely going to look for this area for pullbacks, because I think that's what's going on here. I think you have, let me see here. So was that a 38? That looks like a 50% retracement. Yes, it was 50% retracement here, right? So that move was a 50% pullback off of that move. Sometimes you don't even need to draw the fib. You can kind of tell whereabouts it is. All right, so that's that. So that's Amazon. I'm thinking about this Amazon Prime Day already, and it's not even here yet. See, just to try and grab a trade before the trade happens, and one of those buy the rumor, sell the news type of trade ideas. I'm actually going to delete this because that 20-day is going to be moving up ahead of the 50-day. All right, so it should start to get yanked up real quick. If we're lucky to get 185, I wouldn't like 185 because I like how he pulled back and filled this gap right here on Amazon. And that was a really nice hold right there. You can see you just wicked right into that, bang, and now it's off to the races. You might even come in with a gap up tomorrow. If we come in with a gap up, 189 is the level I'm looking for. All right, 189 is the level I'm looking for a long, which would be Friday's close. Okay, so that's Amazon. Get your pen and papers. If you guys have questions, you can always... Well, it hasn't happened yet, so, and we haven't gotten the data for it, so I think this is the move for Amazon Prime. Has it already happened? I mean, I don't know. I don't have Amazon. Well, we do have Amazon Prime, but I don't. I don't pay attention to it, right? I feel like this, whether it's this whole move here, right? So this could be a move into a move right here. And then I feel like you're going to get a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event, possibly, right? Bang, right there. It should take you to 196. 196 would be your move to move. Let's see here. So yeah, I think it comes in. Yeah, I think Amazon Prime. If we go, we can try to Google it or Bing it real quick. Let's see here. I don't think they've released a date yet. They just said July, so it should be coming up in the next week or two. I think they said the 12th or the 14th or something like that. So I think it's in like a week or two. That's why I'm thinking, hey, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this yet, but it looks like institutions are ahead of us. And you can see, look at the volume that's come in here on Amazon going into the end of the week. Look at these extension days. You had 2 nice extension days there, and on an increase in volume, even that higher high is on higher volume, which is cool. So I think that's what we could have here, right? So we'll look for pullbacks, right? 188. Look for pullbacks in the 188. Try to take this thing up to like into the low 190s. Maybe we get the 196. We'll have to wait and see where futures are. We'll see where this thing opens up tomorrow. But I'm going to keep this on my watch list because there is news around the corner, and we could get a buy the rumor, sell the news. You have 187.50 and 188. So 188 is it's like a double top there from Friday. You guys can see here. All right, let's see. Let me pull this back. And you do kind of have like a cup and handle there, but not really. Oh my goodness. And I know you guys can hear the clicking, so I do apologize for that. I have to move my mic around. Let's see here. So yeah, pullbacks into, I'm just going to keep it at that, 188. All right, Friday's highs. Keep it at 188. Pullbacks in the 188. See if we hold. Excuse me. And then I'll look to, I'm going to look for that as a possible swing trade idea. All right. And if you guys know the dates of Amazon Prime, feel free to throw them in the chat below. Or join us on a live stream when they do release them. Google had a nice day. Let's go. I'm going to go into Palantir and some of these upgrades and downgrades, and I want to touch on semiconductors and anything else you guys have. Again, so let's refresh. All right. Energy's trying to pull back. It feels like we have the market slowed up a little bit last week. We have Apple taking back the ChatGPT news. We don't really have any earnings. We have PCE coming up. It's been kind of flat. Initial jobless claims have kind of been, going a little bit higher here. No real big increases. Also, touching on initial jobless claim, I want you guys to watch for hurricanes and weather to see if that affects and know, hey, there's been let's just say this hurricane that comes through down at the south. If you get an increase in initial jobless claims because people can't work because of the weather. And there's a difference between people not working because of weather and people being laid off. All right, so just think about that as we go into the fall and the end of summer. Even though we just got into it, just kind of keep those things in mind when you can expect to see, hey, we possibly could get a higher than usual number here because of the weather, and you could see it. We've seen it in the past. There was big snowstorms, and we said, hey, this will probably bring up the initial jobless claims, and it surely did. It did. And then they went right back down. So there were now I guess you could relate this to spending, but they added 80,000 state employees, and the expectation was 40,000. They literally added 80,000 state employees. They said, if y'all ain't doing the hiring or whatever, we're going to make the data seem like it's good. And they said, we're going to take on close to 100,000. They took on 80,000 employees. All right. So again, kind of, I'm not making it a political thing. I'm just saying. All right. So Google had a really nice day Friday. I don't know what the news was for this, if there even was news. I'll have to look this up, but Google had a really nice day Friday. She's been in a nice uptrend. She's at all-time highs. Amazon, I feel like, is the only one, and maybe Netflix. Netflix has been doing really well too, though. Out of the big seven, that hasn't made a new high or is at least at all-time highs. It feels like Amazon's kind of kind of being sluggish versus Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, and the rest of them. So maybe this trade into Prime Day. Netflix has done really well this year. From the beginning of the year to date, it's up roughly 50%. Wow. It's up 50%. All right. So Google, let's go into Google real quick and we'll go into some semiconductors. You have a wedge forming here. And I've been saying this, which is okay. Oh, real quick. I meant to say this a little bit ago. NVIDIA. Remember that it got added to, not that it got added to the XLK, but the weighting got upgraded to like 27% in the XLK. So now, when NVIDIA does have down days, you're going to see it in the overall market. It only had a 6% weighting prior. So that's why if NVIDIA pulled back, you didn't really see much. Now, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, you start to see any of those two names, really NVIDIA and Microsoft, you see them pull back, you could really see the overall markets pull back. All right, just wanted to put that out there. So think about that if we have disappointing earnings for whatever reason, or if there's a news catalyst with NVIDIA, it's definitely going to control a bigger portion of the market than it used to. So it's definitely going to be felt to the upside and downside. Remember that going forward. All right, don't forget about that change to the XLK and the upgrade in the weighting that they gave it. I think it was like 6%, 8% before, don't quote me. And now it's in the low 20s. It's like 20, 26, 20. I don't know why I keep thinking like 22, 26, or 20. So it's the low 20s. All right, Google had another wick up here. Had a really nice day on volume Friday. It closed green. We can look for Google going into this week. Again, this isn't really one that I had on my watch list. I've been watching GameStop, Coinbase, Tesla, which we got to cover and we're going to cover. That should have been the first one I talked about, but you guys know how I am. I just got to keep myself on track. I have the worst ADHD. So you guys can see this wedge here, but on the daily chart, if we notice, all right, if you notice, I think Google may have some room to run. All right, so finally we got rain. Holy hallelujah. Finally got some rain. All right, you have this wedge forming here on the daily chart. All right, right there. And you guys can see, actually I'm going to start it right there. This is an ascending wedge forming there on Google. I don't really think of this thing too much either way, but keep an eye out for it. This is a really nice break of Friday, Thursday, Tuesday, of Monday's high. So I would watch Monday's high on Google and look for that 180 level. If you can hold 180, you could get a nice shot to like 182, maybe even 183 or 184 on Google. All right, so pullbacks into 180, I'm going to be long. As long as it's a low volume pullback and there isn't anything, any news or anything, to not go long. I'm going to look to see if 180 holds and try to take a long off of there. Now, it moved big Friday, so I'm not saying that this thing's going to move again on Monday. Maybe it does. Maybe it has a day 2 continuation. It could. It very well could. But for me, it's rejections up there at 182 or at least a long. I would prefer the long off of like 180, 179 than I would anything else. All right, so I didn't mean to bore you with that. AMD. Another stock that broke out Thursday and ended up reversing. All right. Ended up reversing. So, AMD has just been kind of like Tesla. It just has these random huge days. And this is why I say, if you're watching something, like because it has news or something's going on, like let's just say Boeing, right? There's all this stuff going on with Boeing. And he was just in front of Congress. And now, or he's in front of the senators or whatever. And now there's this. Chances are the market Boeing doesn't move tomorrow. Give it 3-4 days. All right? While everyone else gets lost in the sauce and kind of forgets about it, thinking about this or that, because there's going to be other news that's going to come out from now until then. Keep it on a sticky note. So every morning or every day you see it and check on it. And have it a part of your checklist in the morning if you think Boeing's going to move. Again, I'm not sure. Appreciate that. Yeah, man, hit the like button. You guys can donate down below if you so choose to. It goes to the stream. It helps Squawk Box, scanners, all that stuff. It's just a way you guys can give back. If we put you on the right side of the trades, and that's our plan. All right, that's my plan. I mean, not our plan because it's only me. But anyway, hit that like button, subscribe. 1,000 subscribers, I'm doing a giveaway. I'm giving y'all money. Oh, shit, I might have just said what it was. But anyway, so AMD, you got above the 50-day on Friday and Thursday. You got it. You broke above that 50-day moving average. Friday, you pulled into it to test it. Now, if the Qs and or semiconductors, which is funny, NVIDIA pulls back and AMD is getting a bounce, let's see if some of that money that gets pulled out of NVIDIA goes into AMD. You have a really nice support level here at 160. All right, you have a nice support level here at 160. If we end up breaking above and can hold that 20-day moving average at like 164, I would like to try and get like a move, call it like Thursday's close, Friday's open, 162, 164, and get a move into 170, test the top end of that range. All right, that's what I would like to try to get to. This is a nice break and retest. Again, you have to be careful because it hasn't been you can't trust it. All right, you just can't trust this thing. It hasn't given you reason to be long. I read an article a while ago. They said that why own AMD if you already own names like NVIDIA, Broadcom, TSM. They're pretty much saying, you're seeing AMD lag possibly because there isn't a need to put on extra exposure when you already pretty much have the market in and of itself between NVIDIA and TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors, and Broadcom. All right. So, AMD did not hold. It's not a level I'd consider it. But yeah, we'll stick with that. We'll see if we get pullbacks back into the 50-day at like 159.75, 160, look for longs. All right, look for longs off of 160. You got to break through 162 and that 20-day moving average. That's why I said without even looking, depending on where we open up, I'm sure that 20-day is going to be down here. And if we can turn this level into support, all right, I'm going to make it bigger. That's what she said. Right there, 162. If we can get above and close above 162 and hold, I'd like to take that move back to like 166, 167 on AMD. Again, one more time. If we can hold and get above and hold 162, or possibly even this 161 level, if you're seeing us hold here, all right, and you start to see that, hey, we're finding support on some nice volume, I'm looking for longs into, really, it's like this level here. It's one, see, that's 164. I don't like that. I don't know, man. AMD, it's a tough trade because you have the 20-day, you have the resistance level, and then you have the 100-day. So there's like not really much room, but you have a gap fill up at 166.50. So you filled that Thursday. At least you touched it Thursday. So maybe you get it. Maybe there's a small trade there going into earlier. Yeah, maybe there's a trade there on pullbacks. I'm not sure. It's not a setup that I would trade. Just expectations. Again, that's the word. That's the word of the week. All right, expectations. Just if you're looking for $2-3 and you get that pullback, get long. If it's a scalp, if it's a half-hour trade, just get your money. If you get paid, just take it. All right, AMD, we'll see what happens. Your resistance is up there at 168, and the 100-day moving average is up here too. So we'll see what happens. Unless there's news for it to get a sell-off, you have nice volume. I think this thing just stays range-bound. 158 to 160 long. Rejections up there at 167 to 170. All right. One more time for anybody that has a paper and wants to know. 159. I said 157, but I'm going to say the 50-day moving average. Call it 159, 160, longs into like 165, 166, 170. This is an ugly chart, guys, in my opinion. So you're holding here. This is your range. This is what we look for. All right, we're making this support. Now it's a little above, a little below, but right there, that's your range, right? You tried to break out of it. That's a failed breakdown. Nice. Look at that volume down here, bottom right. Look at that volume right there. Look at that. Boom. Nice increase in volume for the breakout. Now you're holding the bottom end of that range. So this could be a trade back to 170. All right, 160, 159, 160 longs into 170 on AMD. Micron, it kind of upgrade and downgrade. You'll see that really, you can see things how you want. And Palantir, which I'm going to cover Micron, Palantir as well. We talked about the banks, okay. RXO acquires Coyote Logistics, UPS for approximately $1 billion. We'll see what UPS might has some news there. You have some AI news here. So 5 big analyst AI moves. All right. Microsoft is the best way to play AI in our coverage. Truist says. Let's see here. These are upgrades, correct? Okay, Palantir downgraded. Micron price target hiked ahead of earnings. And again, we talked about those earnings. So let's put myself in particular. All right, so it didn't even tell you the upgrade or downgrade on it. Right? Is the best way. So it didn't even give you the upgrade price. Anyway, Palantir downgraded to a sell by Moans, Crespi, and Hardit. Okay. Analysts have downgraded Palantir Technologies from a neutral to a sell, setting the price target at $20. And Palantir fell 5% following the market open on Friday. All right, so Bernstein hikes Apple price target. AI can be a leader, not a laggard. Okay. Micron price target to 170 ahead of its earnings report. I love Micron. And listen, if you guys are, whether you're new here or old, if you're old here and you guys are frequent flyers, y'all know that I've always said that I've liked Micron, right? And it's, it hasn't been the winner because it's NVIDIA, and but Micron's a nice one there to have owned earlier on. So Micron price target to 170 ahead of its earnings. Micron does have earnings if you didn't know that. IDEA is the most undervalued AI play. ADEA. Let's look at this real quick. ADEA. This thing doesn't have much liquidity. About 500,000 shares traded each day. This is a nice level right here. If you recapture this $11 mark. Oh, it's $11 stock. Okay. All right. Watch that $11. If you can hold $11 and you get a bounce out of NVIDIA, right? 11 to 12. What's the percentage of that? Let's look it up real quick. It's 10%, right? That should be right on that. If my math is correct. Is the percentage gain from 11 to 12. 11. What? Come on. 11. 12. Yeah, 10% gain. I thought I was correct. I don't know why I did that. All right, so it's about 9%. It's in the high 9. So that's a 10% gain there. All right, we'll watch this stock here. That's $11. Nice little support level there. I've never heard of this. I'll have to do some research on it. But I will say this. Okay, oh, look. This stock is new. ADEA. Sometimes Thinkorswim won't give me the whole thing for whatever reason. Yeah, this thing is older. Okay. So wait. Okay, yeah, 2024. Okay, so that's good. What I was looking at was it was ADEA at highs. It is. It's up at highs like the rest of the names. Futures open yet? Let's go look. Let's look. Yes, where do we open up at? Let's go see. CCC. What's she giving me? All right, $3. Or 3 minute. Flat. Flat as a rookie. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. He said it's Sunday. We're in no hurry to do anything. All right. So, futures right now, about flat. Just, I would say we're down a bit, but really, from Friday's close, I mean, it depends on what you mean by close. So anyway, all right, let's keep it moving. DJT. DJT, I'm going to want to trade this, or I'm probably going to be trading this week. There's been some really nice volume here with this name. All right. This goes into when I talked about having a sticky note or something to keep a stock in your head and on your mind. Back here, okay, back here, I wanted to swing trade DJT to the downside. What happened? I forgot about it. Tesla. I still got to talk about Tesla. Don't let me get into that. David, what's up, guys? Why do you have it all labeled as a crash? We are still above 10-day moving average. Clickbait. I don't know. Stock market crash. Who knows? Anything could happen, man. We got 3 wars. Maybe inflation goes up. Nvidia's pulling back. Energy's pulling back. You know what it is. It's YouTube, man. I'm not one of them. But anyway, appreciate you guys joining. So DJT, well below 20-day, 50-day, all that fun stuff. So we got long DJT, and I had a problem again. I know I talked about it shortly. I struggled to get my limit fill. It was like they just didn't want to pay me. I don't know why. I don't know if there was a basket of retail, a basket of institution, and they were just like, yeah, we're going to pay these guys before we pay you. And you guys see it happen all the time. I tell you guys my limit. Sometimes I'll market order in and then limit order out. Sometimes I'll limit order in and then limit order out. Or market. You guys, like I said, when we trade, again, we trade here live every day, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4. And I'll tell you guys what I do. And roughly, not roughly, but where I have those limit orders. And I tell you if I raise it, if I'm going to lower it, if I'm starting to see something different. Hey, I almost market ordered out of DJT because it was still profitable, but then they filled me when I think that's what happened. Matter of fact, I'm almost 100% sure that's what happened was I wasn't getting filled, and I'm like, all right, guys, it's up here now. It's around my limit order. I went to market order out, and it said that I didn't have any I didn't have any contracts left, so it ended up filling me when I went to when I said, "Hey, I just want to get my money out of here and just get paid real quick, and we'll move on." But I'm gonna watch DJT. All right, you have a gap fill up here at the 200-day moving average. This nice support level here at $30. I want to look for bounce backs in the $30, and we have to watch for more possible dilution. You have room, honestly. You hit it Friday, but I think you have to watch this area for support and look. Don't be naive to bounce backs off of that support level. All right, this is a nice support level down here at like $23 to $25, right in that range. So you guys can see there's been some nice volume here, and there's the options at times. They're pretty, the spreads aren't crazy. Maybe we could get a swing trade down into $20, but I like GameStop right now for that. So GameStop, DJT, I'm going to be looking at these. And we did trade, we traded this to the long side Friday for another, I think it was what? I don't think I know. I put on 3 trades Friday. Tesla 190 or 184 short, and then I got a small long on Tesla as well. I took half of that off, but I had a small loser on half that Tesla trade. And yeah, so 2 green trades Friday, 1 half of a loss, but I was able to kind of. I'd have to go back and look to see the profit versus where I sold it the other half at. So it's kind of like a break-even trade, I guess. I have to go back and look to see exactly it. I might even have been profitable. Because I think that long, we took it off that other half while we were still profitable. Again, everything is fully recorded here. All right, so DJT. Let's go to a 15. We are on a 15-minute chart. You have resistance up here at $29. We'll see what we do at $29. If we reject that double top up there at $29, I will look to. I might even just short the shares itself instead of grabbing puts because of what happened Friday. But if we reclaim this, we could have a nice long down here. Look at that tail from Friday. So I'm going to say it right now. Pullbacks into 26. And you notice that we start holding these levels. I think we got to think for a bounce back to fill the gap and get back to the 200-day. But keep an eye on whether or not they issue more shares. Okay, if they're just going to dilute this thing and raise money, that's their job. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Or don't hate the game, hate the play. Don't even hate either of them. It's just, it is what it is, right? That's what the market's for. All right, it's for companies to raise capital, and if there's a profit, pay shareholders. All right, that's what the market's for. So a surefire break of 28 and hold with 28. Well, really, not really, because that's your double top up there at 29. 27 bucks. So if you get a pullback and hold on low volume, I would look for $27, $26, $27. That would also be Friday's VWAP. So you can look for a day 2 VWAP down there at $26, 26, 27. See if it's a low volume pullback, and if you get it like a nice increase in hold, we'll see what happens pre-market. This also could all happen pre-market, and then we're up by $30, $31 when we open up tomorrow or Tuesday, and we get short up there at $30 to like $32. This whole area is where I'm looking at from, really it's like $29 to like $32. All right, that whole area up there at that 200-day moving average on DJT. So I'm neutral. I'm going to play both sides of the trade. I'll play the long if it gives it to me, and I'm going to play the short. I haven't looked at mRNA in a while, but this sector did have was doing really well, but then Moderna already has ran. So we have to think about look, and it already did the thing. You're at the 50-day moving average. Let's look here, right? Look, that's a really nice hold there. 1, 2, right? 3, 4, 5, which is resistance. 6, support. Okay. So it looks like, and the 100-day. So it looks like we can rely on a bounce back or expect somewhat of a bounce back unless we gap below it, which is what looks like is probably going to come. for Moderna. Let's look at the chart though. All right, so we have our support level down here at 120. Here, how about this? If we, for whatever reason, get a pullback this week in the overall markets, I am going to watch for a pullback and see if we can't get Moderna down into 120. All right, that's the 100-day moving average. If the market pulls back, Moderna does like to do what the SPY does. Longer term trend is a break and reversal off that pivot high there. But this is a major level here at 120. So we could go to mRNA. Let's go put up an anchored VWAP there off that low. And I'll show you where I'm talking about right here. Is that this year too? No, it's 2023. This was the move where we started moving higher. Yes, the move was here, but this is really where things got interesting. We could do both of them because it's not going to matter. It's really not. We'll do both. Let's go here and look at that. Where's that come in at? That anchored VWAP comes right in there at 120. I already knew it would. So that's a nice level there. Oilers, dude. I'm a lifetime Oilers fan now. Y'all should already know that. If you guys follow me on Twitter at Ivy League Trades, you already know she won my heart. I'm an Oilers fan for life now, bro. What do I think happens? I think everybody's expecting Florida to win, and I think just the Oilers pull it off, man. I do. I think the Oilers pull it off. Who's the better team? Florida. But that day, I don't know. Maybe Florida just bust that ass and they bring it back home to win. But that's pretty nerve-wracking to like say, hey, it's game 7, right? Or in game 6. Should you bring it home and risk losing to bring it home to the fans to win? Or do you just take the title right there in Canada, beat them at their own home? I feel like it's anybody's game. Honestly, maybe Oilers to keep going on this stretch that they've gone on is pretty unlikely. But yeah, maybe I know I'm mixing up my mind here. It just, I don't know. The Florida should win. Florida should win. And maybe they do, right? But I'm just going to say, after what happened, I'm a lifetime Oilers fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm a play along. I'm a big kid at heart, so go Oilers and go Kate. If you don't know who Kate is, look her up. She's a cool chick. Anyway, Moderna pullbacks into 120 and that 100-day moving average. We could also look for a bounce here off of the 50-day at 130. Look for bounces. Look, we're well below this 20-day moving average. Look for that prior support there. This is also a nice trade here. You tried to get some volume off of, or you tried to bounce off of it, but no luck. Nobody wanted to be a part of it. Look how low that volume was. Look at that. Even to bounce back to that support level at 140. So if we can get a bounce, and maybe the overall markets bounce early in the week, let's see if we can look for a bounce there off of 140 on Moderna, and then look for a pullback from 140 to 130, a $10 move. That's going to be a nice day. That's going to be at least 100%, depending on when it does it, what options we're in, how fast it does it. But I do like this trade, and I'm actually going to write this down right now. If you guys have tickers, go ahead and throw them in the chat for me, and we'll go through them real quick. mRNA, what is that? 140 rejection. 140 rejection. And then we have the 129, 130 long. Look at that right there too. Okay. Yeah, 129. Hold on. I'm writing in the dark right now. Not really the dark, but 129.50. 130 long. That could be a nice, base hit. Maybe even a double, triple there if we get this trade correct. This could be a nice trade here. You have a pivot low here. What are your thoughts, Bingo? Who do you think takes it? I'm rooting for the Canadians. All right, so 135. Look for that Look for breaks above 135. If we start turning 135 into support and the overall markets try to trend higher, I would look for a long to 140 there. But anything, to the downside, I think you got to watch out for 129.50, 130. It looks like a level there that you may not break the first try. You're not. I wouldn't expect you break the 50-day the first try there. It's just my opinion again. You could. Maybe news comes out. So that's Moderna. We talked about Apple. Oh, Microsoft. I forgot to tell you guys. No, we did. We said this double top. We can get above 450. I'm looking for blue skies above. I mean, it's just open space up here. Especially if the Dow rallies. And look at the volume that came in Friday. That was a nice increase in volume. We closed at the highs, while things like the SPY closed red, flat Friday. The Dow closed red on Friday, on the day at least. And then the QQQ, I think, closed flat. And flat on the week, too. It closed red. So, technology, if this is anything to tell us, bounce backs, we start breaking these levels, right? The Q's closed red, the Dow closed green. You're seeing the divergence. Short tech, watch yields. All right, watch yields. Pull up the 10-year and 2-year, and watch yields. Snowflake, I haven't looked at this in a little while. This thing is trying to come down. The thing, I'm going to probably buy some very soon. Okay. Even though I don't like the fact that the CEO that was managing it left. All right. I don't know what's going to happen with this company now. I know the CEO that's there now can always pick up the phone. But you got to look for 130 here. That was prior support. All right. Prior support. You bounced into it Thursday and Friday. You guys can see here. Or Tuesday. Look, Tuesday or Monday, right? Monday bounce. Tuesday. Thursday, you're bouncing again. Friday, I'm thinking about this. I said if we got 110, 100, even $90, I wanted to be a buyer of Snowflake. Snowflake does a lot of business, but again, overall technology and semiconductors and even some of tech is up at highs. This thing's down at lows, like lows. All right, so this is nice that we have some volume coming in here. So I think I may start to buy some Snowflake for the long term. All right, I'm just going to let you guys know that now. Beat Dallas, who beat the, what is it? Like you said, everyone expects the Panthers to win, and they're generally better, but I like the Oilers to win, definitely. Oh, nice. Beat the Avs. Oh, exactly. Yeah, that was crazy, man. They didn't even show. I don't know what. I didn't see. Listen, I don't really watch. I mean, I do when it comes down to like the playoffs and stuff, but I kind of just like am more of a college football and basketball fan than the NFL and NBA. Just I don't know. It's just what I like. I fell in love with it. Listen, I used to love them both, but then I'm just like, I don't know. They kind of just. Hopefully the college doesn't turn into it, but I don't know. I do like the NFL. I like NBA. I just don't really watch it. It's just crazy that they just got spanked like that, but they made it. So, all right. Anyway, Snowflake. So, let's see if you can break above here. If we get some rotation back out of the rotation. So I said this on Twitter that people were talking about rotation this, rotation that. Well, you've had this rotation step in prior, but it didn't hold ground. Like, it didn't give you the extension and really sell off yet. So I still think when NVIDIA pulls back, I still think you're going to have buyers. I go back, yes, it's well above their earnings, but I still think that if you go back and if you listen to their earnings call, they said that they still have orders for the rest of 2024 going into 2025 that they can't make more. They still have to deliver on the promises that were made, I guess you could say, in other words. In other terms, the orders are filled, right? They're busy all the way up until 2025. So as long as they're, filled to the brim and that they have orders that, you know, they have, you know, orders that are on back order that they can't get to for another 6 to 8 months, 10 months. You know, they can sell those things at a premium. Until that changes, I don't, you know, we're going to have to see when that changes. Does somebody else step in, Micron or someone else step in and start taking that market share? So far, we don't have that. So we'll see here if tech can get a nice bounce. I would like to try to take Snowflake long. Again, I don't want to catch a falling knife, but like 139, 140 on Snowflake. All right, anything, I mean, that is kind of a big move, but I don't know. Honestly, we might, just this volume coming in here, let's see if we start to see some institutional buying or if we see an upgrade or downgrade. I don't know. I'm just going to watch Snowflake. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to watch Snowflake. But really, you guys know my watch list: Coinbase, DJT, GameStop, and we'll look at the overall markets. So you have a nice range here. What we could do, what I would say is, we could just play the range. Instead of trying to make things difficult, look for pullbacks into like 125 or so. And, you know, if it holds up, look for bounces back into like 130. But you know what? Let's look here. This looks like it's trying to... Nope, it rejected again. All right. We'll just see what happens here. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. Meta. Let's see here. Also, Mara and Riot. Baba. Yes, Baba. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing Baba up. And I still have to go over Palantir. So, oh man, Baba's in trouble. Oh, fuck. Let me see here. All right, so this is why you don't try to catch falling knives, and I've said this before. Here's the thing. I know people talk about short squeezes and stuff like that. In order to get markets to move, you need institutional ownership. Okay, you need big money that drives and bids these prices up, right? It's going to be hard for someone to say, yeah, sure, you know what? I'm going to allocate all kinds of money. But listen, I will say this. I think on Bloomberg, we did see a little headline there that somebody, or there was mentioning of Baba could be a play for, could be a buying opportunity pretty much. But here's the thing. You still have to be able to trust, number one, that China isn't going to invade Taiwan. That's number one. And number two, trust in general. Okay? That they're not going to change laws in the middle of the night. And if you think that some of these institutions are just going to blindly put their money into something that they can't sleep at night with, you're wrong. All right? And we need them. So in order to, like, you know, be on the right side of the trade, you know where they are? They are buying CRM. Okay? They are buying CRM. So there's one location that we spotted them in. All right? Kind of like Starbucks, right? You got these big moves because it's a good company, down on earnings. We need something that we can buy that's on sale. CRM. Starbucks, right? This could be our Starbucks ATM machine again. All right, but I'll go over Baba and get the level. So look at the volume that's here, right? You're coming up. You have some resistance up here at 249.50, and that 200-day moving average up there. So you could have some room to like 250, 255 area. Keep CRM on watch if you want. You know, I'm just saying, if you want something that's, you know, it had an up day Thursday and an up day Friday. That is more than most of the stocks that traded Thursday and Friday can say. Previous resistance here at 245. So if we reclaim 245, you could see some of the shorts and some buyers step in there because you have I look at this again, right? This here, this is a brick wall of just like blocking off whatever's to the left of us, and we have nothing stopping us back to the 265, 270s. Maybe we look for a swing trade here on CRM. All right, let's go back to Baba. Daily chart, I don't think there was any real moving averages with it. there was also something in the NASDAQ where they said that they were going to watch some of these Chinese names that were IPOing, that they were going to start regulating and watching who they let uplist on the exchange and who they don't. There was a stock that was up almost like, it was like 3,000%, something crazy, or over 1,000, 1,200%. So there was news about China stocks there. Look at all these tails you have here on the daily chart below the 100-day. This looks like a rollover to me, if you want me to be honest. There's your downtrend, your pop, consolidation, and look. And look at that candle there. Looks like the day just got cut off, but it closed at the low of the day. Right? There's no wick there. So that to me looks like, you know, it looks to me like you have some further downside coming on BABA. Let's see here. Like you said, there's a gap fill. Sorry that this stream is going on so long. I don't know how long it's been just yet. We can even look real quick. I didn't want to make it that long. 2 hours. Wow. No shit. Okay. Alright. So this actually, let me delete this. Look at this. This is actually a nice trade here. Thank you for bringing this up, Bingo. Alright. Look at this level right here. Look at that support level right there. That support and resistance level. You just made that resistance right there. So let me pull this back really quickly for you guys. Right there. Look at that. Right? Here's your little island revert. Look. Gap up. You rally. You pull back. Support. Right? You come back to it. You tail. There's a tail there. If you can see it. Look. Long tail. Bang. Buyer stepped in there. Where at? 75. You broke it. Bounced into it. Then you gap down. Alright. So, thank goodness we're getting some rain here. I gotta go feed the cat outside too. It's so hot out today and she hasn't really had much. So you're right. Yeah, I like that too. That's a nice idea there. Honestly though, I think you have room. You do have the gap fill. That would be a level that would be a place that I would look at for like profit taking. And like in front of 72.90, call it 73. So this is a good idea. Thank you for bringing this up, bro. So right there. Actually, I'm gonna change this. We are extended really low. All right, let's go right there, dotted line, and then I think that's your support level right there at 71. So you could see possibly. I think you need a bounce back first. I would look for like 75, 76 to become resistance up here. And then try to get short off that 100-day on that area there. And see if you can't... What if they suck people in to go short and then it rips higher? It's just my opinion. I would wait for the bounce back to like 76 to get short and then take it down to, you know, $71, $70. But that's a good one there. So that's BABA. Let's go to the intraday real quick so I don't just skip out on that. So yeah, you can see here, nice support level. Some nice volume there too on that day. Not really actually, because if we zoom back, right, look at the volume back here. Look at all that volume. So we'll see. Maybe BABA does have a nice breakout day with volume. I think you have to get up through 75 bucks. You get through 75 bucks, that could entice short sellers to start stepping in to take some profit, and that could give you like some nice volume there. Marbom and 3M, okay. I mean, you know what? It's going. 3M is going higher. It is. I don't know if it's not a down name anymore. I think they took it out. Oh, real quick, Mara and Riot. Well, Mara and Riot. I'm just going to watch Bitcoin. I'm going to watch Bitcoin for that. All right, look here. ARM. So we have this prior support level here. This is a nice, this could be a nice setup. I do like this. I might start adding this to the list. All right, so here's a daily chart of ARM. You have this previous area that we talked about with nice support level right there at 150. All right, 150. minor resistance in 160 to 167. All right, I would look for this to try to. They already took the long Friday, and if we can get above 160 and start closing above 160, I think you see this thing right back to 170. I think you could honestly possibly see that. The reason I say that, you have a little resistance at 164.50, but if you do get above 164.50, you have nothing stopping you, right? You have nothing stopping you up there. Should I say 165? What should we do? Let's see here. So yeah, right here, guys. You guys see that little pivot right there at that 164.50 level? All right, in the 4 hour, you have some resistance right there too. Let's go. Let's walk it down. Let's walk it down. The daily chart's a bit overextended, but it can still just because something's overbought doesn't mean it has to sell off. 162.50. Okay, so that was after hours is when that did that. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that. Which is, I'm going to stick with 162. If we get above Friday's pivot high on ARM and we start closing up there, I would look for a move back to 170 off of 164. All right, that's what I do like that trade, and I'll actually show you here with this that we can see. Okay, 165. All right, so we have some nice support down there. Even if we can get pullbacks into 154, 155, call it 157.50 actually. That is a nice little level down here. Day 2 VWAP. You can see here, if you can't see it, you guys can see previous resistance Friday, recaptured it, turned it into support all day Friday. So we'll see tomorrow and into Tuesday. If you get a pullback into this level here, see if end on top of it. What else do we have? We have VWAP right there. So we'll see what happens again from Tuesday into tomorrow. If we get a pullback into, what is that, 158? 157.50. Wait, that's so weird. Okay, yeah, 158. Yep, 158. And then, man, this is why I get frustrated with the ARM, because I can literally see, like, you know, if we hold 160, I'm actually going to do that. I'm actually going to put this. I'm actually going to do this. And the 15-minute chart. Let me see here. Sorry, I'm going to do that. I'm just doing this real time with you guys right now. What is that? 160. We could see some continued strength here out of semiconductors. Yeah, pullbacks into this level here, guys. Yeah, call it 160. All right, so 160. I'm going to keep that drawing there. And I'm going to draw a box. All right, that'll be green. So if ARM pulls into 158, 160, I'll have a stop loss there. 59.50, 159. All right, so right there. All right, what this is if depending on where we open up tomorrow, I'll use 160 to 158. I'll look for an entry down here and then have a stop loss underneath 168. Okay. Or I'm sorry, 158. 160 is going to be the long. 160 to 158 long. And then you would look to target 165, really 170, honestly. 170 would be your target because, again, and I reiterate this, if we... Man, this is... We'll see what happens when we open up because now I'm looking at 162. If we, come in with a gap up and we decide to pull it back, you could see it like people thinking about getting long at 162, but it goes a little bit further into that close and even VWAP. You could probably recapture 162, top right screen, and you got really nothing stopping you until you get to 169.50, 170. All right, so that's a nice $10 move. And ARM is a stock that if you learn how to trade it, it's rough at first if you don't watch it. She'll pay you. And she'll pay you handsomely for like a little move. You'll be like, damn, this thing's only 100 and some bucks. Like Tesla's $1.80 and it's not paying me that much. So, I mean, honestly, we're turning this into resistance. Yes, I like 160. I like 160. Yeah, it's storming, guys. I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate all of you guys for joining me today. Hit that like button, subscribe. Join us tomorrow morning. We'll see what news we wake up to. One last check. Let's go to /NQ. All right, and we are pretty much flat. All right, I got a storm rolling in, guys. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Listen, keep your head up. Join us on the live stream. I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to learn how to trade and do it correctly, join us on the live stream. It's completely free. You don't lose anything but a little bit of time. And I assure you, whether you're new or you've been doing this for a while, I'm sure coming in, joining in chat, you'll be able to learn something new. All right. We share our ideas. We talk about the news. We have the scanners going, Squawk Box, and we'd love to have you. Hit the like button for us. Subscribe. We get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm thinking about 500 now, doing a giveaway at 500, but I really want to do a big one at 1,000 if we can make it there. Appreciate you guys giving me your time, and again, my goal here is to help you guys become better traders and myself. So if you found anything valuable, again, I urge you, come join us on the live stream tomorrow. You can donate to the stream down below. You can hit the like button, subscribe, share this with a friend or someone that you may know that is into the markets that may want to join us. Sorry for the long live stream, but I think we covered a good amount. We talked about semiconductors, blue chip names. We talked about banks, right? Stress test coming up. Nike earnings. Okay, so we have a lot of stuff coming up. Nike earnings, how does that affect Starbucks and Home Depot and Ulta, right? All those brick and mortar, selling names, and even Amazon, right? Walmart, okay? So McDonald's, all right? That was a trade we took a while ago. We're not in that anymore, but McDonald's and all these names I think are going to be on watch. And look, McDonald's is right back to 260, 259, where we took this break and retest off of that level on McDonald's right here, right on that day. We said, hey, we got the pullback, get long. It's a longathon, and that was a day trade for us. Really nice day trade. I haven't watched this much since then. Oh, real quick, I haven't watched Walmart either that much, but it's still continuously hitting all-time highs. I can already tell you right now, Walmart does have a little resistance zone right here. Right here, up here at possibly $68. Watch 68 on Walmart to see if you get that pullback. And that pullback should take you to 67.50, 67.40. Okay? CCJ. I've been watching this for a long time now. All right? We had a video pop up on us with Cameco. This thing is very liquid. It's a low volatile name that if you catch it on the right days, it can make you some nice money. I can also not forget. I'm watching this. We'll talk about this one later. But Tesla. I did not talk about Tesla. Tesla. All right. I'm watching Tesla. This is a beautiful setup here. Watching 182.50 to 182. All right. I came in Friday screaming off the top of my lungs, not, you know, for whatever speaking. Showing you guys that, guys, 184 is clear as day. We got to look to get short off that level, and we in fact did. All right, 184 was our level. So Friday we got short off of that level, and you got some nice follow through off of it. I'm watching Tesla back down at 182. What is that? 182.50 to 182. I would much rather Tesla hold 182.50 than 82. I think if we break 182.50, then we start turning 182.50 into resistance, and then that's where we see some downside back down into 181, 180, and potentially even 178, 177.50, and the 20-day moving average. So watch for pops into 185. This is what I'm thinking for Tesla. If we get into 185 and we reject, now you obviously need to hold 182.50, but you have to break 184. And just because we break 184 doesn't mean that we don't get that rejection there at 185 and sellers really step in again. 185, 186, I would look and see if we get a pullback, which this green box you see here. All right, you can see the bottom right of my screen. All right, that's the daily chart. I know there's a lot of levels there, but you can see these two orange lines, correct? All right, you can see the wedge that we're putting in here, and look where the wedge goes to. It goes right to earnings. You as well, Bingo, and I'll see you in chat tomorrow. This wedge actually takes us right into earnings. It's kind of funny. It's not ironic either. So I think the market's kind of telling us, hey, we might be waiting for a second round of earnings to see if we can compete with this first one and see if we can get something to change, which there was also just news that the Cybertruck has actually had an increase in sales and they're doing a 10% layoff. These things should help Tesla stock out. Okay, it should. We'll see, you know, whether that's the case or not. But we bounced off. We found some support there at 180. I'm looking for 186, 185. Really, it's 185 is the level. You know, as you guys can see here on the 3-minute. So the trade idea that I'm thinking of with this 20-day moving average right here, the green box, I'm honestly thinking about if we can get to 185, I'm thinking about the short off of 185. Really, see, 184 is the area, but I think you could get some people sucked in on the break of 185, only to see it reject here at 184. You see it break, right? And then it like brings people in. Oh, we broke Friday's high. We're holding Friday's high. Now let's climb. Oh, and then it just runs out of steam. We could look for a short up there at 185 to 186 down into the 20-day, which at the time should be around 179. Okay, I'm looking to see if Tesla can't break 185, 186. I would like to get short up at 186, 185 and see if we can't take this trade back down to 180, 179 on Tesla, back down to the 20-day moving average. Reverse scenario. If we break 184 and we hold it and it feels like we're going to get a breakout on volume, I would look for a gap fill back to 187, 188. All right, because you have a gap fill here above us, which there's still a lot. It doesn't mean we have to go there. But you guys will see here if I bring you up to, let me bring you up to like a 15-minute chart. You guys will see here that there is a small gap fill. It's not crazy, but it's there. All right, so you guys see here, and yes, it did wick to it, but it's a wick. I think it needs to be closed. Okay, so here's the gap right here at I guess that's Monday or last Friday's opening price at 186.60 to 187.50. Okay, that's your gap. So let's see if we can recapture 184 and get above 185. You have some nice room. You have a double top high up there, 189, 188. Look for the gap fill. So that's Tesla. I'll be watching it. It's fun to trade, especially if you're patient and you wait for it to set up, which is like not just shooting from the hip on Monday or Tuesday, but like seeing what it does. I mean, that was Friday for us, and I've told you guys, the data says that Fridays I crush. I'm just really good on Fridays. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the whole week the stock's set up and I take the trade, but it just is what it is. I'm really good on Fridays. That's what statistically the stats say. That's all I got, man. Appreciate you guys. I love y'all. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the stream down below. Donation link is in the subscription if you'd like to give back a couple bucks. Goes to the stream. It helps go to the scanners, the Squawk Box, all that fun stuff. You guys have a great night. Have a great week. Have a great rest of your weekend. Hold your head up. Whatever you want out of your life, you can go get it. Just these are tools that you can use. Master them. Be a jack of trades. Whatever not. I'm tired. I don't know what the saying is. It doesn't matter. But guess what? Keep your head up. Join us on the stream. Let's make some money this week. All right? That is my number one goal. Understanding what it is I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and what I'm going to get out of it. All right? I'm really ready for this week, guys, so I hope to see you guys on the stream tomorrow. I'm going to make this a good week, and we're going to. I'm hoping to make us some really good money this week. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your night.